Focus up. I'm talking to you, Rubio. I'm talking to me. Why? I may have to start washing my face. You guys know how I don't wash my face, but today I got a zit right here. Can you see it? It's I just picked it off. Very, very painful. I always thought that the lip zit was most painful, but then I got one at one point, like 2-3 years ago, and I'm still scarred by it. I got a zit inside my nostril. If you've ever had a zit inside your nostril, holy hell, because you got to pick at it, you got to go going, and then all of a sudden your eyes are watering, all hell's breaking loose. On that note, welcome to episode 81 of the Rubio Method. We have a phenomenal show for you today. We're going to be all over the place. We've got two fantastic guests that I know you're going to love. Before I even get to what the rundown of the show is going to be, I want to say shout out to Sub 60 Ed. He is actually filling in for Jenna right now. He's doing a great job. He's the one in the background. If you don't know who Sub 60 Ed is, he's a trademark at this point. He's got his own patent. He's doing whatever he's doing. He's my go-to Sub 60. He's always on decades. He does a great job. And Jenna she's earned a well-deserved vacation. She's with Nana Mona out in Cancun, Mexico. I hope they're having a margarita or daiquiri or whatever people drink in Cancun and are watching the show. If they are, shout out to them. If they're watching on Facebook, YouTube, LinkedIn, X, Instagram, I think all those, you can chime in at any point. It'll be on iTunes and Spotify by tomorrow. All right, what are we talking about tonight? All right. We're going to talk about El Trumpo's massive rally on Sunday at Madison Square Garden and how it was extremely racist. Just, oh my God, racist. Because number one, it's El Trumpo. Number two, it's at Madison Square Garden. So that's just a recipe for disaster, of course. Then we're going to talk about what's really going on with the whole Middle East, Jews and all that good stuff. We're going to bring in Jeff Abraham on that one because, as I said before, to Sub 60, he's my go-to Jew. And anytime I have a Jewish question, I always go to Abraham. He sends me straight, just like if I have a Mr. Jesus question, I usually go to AC of AC Sports Live. He helps me out with those. Then we're going to talk about Joey B had a little awakening last night and called 80 million people in the United States garbage. And there's been a little bit of backlash, but is it deserved or not? And El Trumpo just did something very, very funny if you're watching XR on all those things. Then we're going to talk with Charles Wallace. I'm going to bring him on. You're going to love Chalice. That's what I call him. He's mid-20s from Philadelphia, a little feisty guy. I think he does MMA, so I'm never going to get in a fight with him. Plus, he's shorter. Plus, he did wrestling. So that's just another recipe for disaster. I've used that twice today. We're going to talk about how Miami Heat basketball player Dwayne Wade was honored with a statue that might be one of the top 3 worst statues in the history of statues. And then we're going to talk about who in the hell is running both these campaigns for Trump and Kamala. All that and much, much more on today's episode 81 of the Rubio Method. Normally I'd break, but I don't want to. I want to go straight into it. So here we go. Everything happens for a reason. All right. El Trumpo held a massive rally at Madison Square Garden. There's 25,000 people in attendance. Allegedly, there's another 50,000 outside. Who knows? El Trumpo and his campaign, they always seem to exaggerate some numbers. It's sold out. That's all you need to know. All races and genders were inside, no matter what you heard. And that's a big point. You're like, okay, Rubio, who cares what races and genders are inside? Well, you have to understand that the mainstream media went off on this being a Nazi rally. Okay, in case you don't know what a Nazi is, it's basically a form of, they were a party in the German party way back in the 30s and 40s, and they really just, let's just say, wanted everyone to be blonde, blue-eyed Germans. Especially if you're a Jew, you're out. Okay, so it's kind of weird that this Nazi rally, and Sub 60, you have some pictures of it where you can kind of show what people were tweeting. Yeah, this is side by side where it's showing exactly Nazi rally on the left, El Trumpo rally on the right. And this was an actual tweet that someone posted and said, oh my God, it's the exact same thing. It's the exact same thing. It's the exact same thing. Just because there's people in Madison Square Garden does not mean it's the exact same thing. Sub 60, you have the picture. I know I'm kind of going out of order of all the Democrats that have gone into Madison Square Garden, where I think you've got Clinton, you've got Kennedy. There's several of them in there. Oh, no, this is a different one, but just as good. That's fine. You can leave that one up, Sub 60. Okay. This one says, never seen a Nazi rally with Jews, blacks, and Hindus as speakers. These are all speakers at the rally. And I'm pretty sure if it was a Nazi rally, you would not be allowed to have Hindus, blacks, and Jews. So this kind of just squashes the whole narration of this was a Jew rally or Nazi rally. So I don't understand. But you're thinking, oh, Rubio, these are just pictures. What are you talking about? Let's see what MSNBC said about being a Nazi rally. Sub 60, do you have that video for me? And it's just going to show you exactly. This was an actual broadcast.
But that jamboree happening right now, you see it there on your screen, in that place is particularly chilling because in 1939, more than 20,000 supporters of a different fascist leader, Adolf Hitler, packed the garden for a so-called pro-America rally. A rally where speakers voiced anti-Semitic rhetoric from a stage draped with Nazi banners. When a Jewish protester rushed the stage, the Associated Press reported, quote, instantly, a dozen or more stormtroopers set upon him, knocking him down and beating him as he held his head in his arms. Most of his clothing was torn from his body. Later, he was booked for disorderly conduct. Now, against that backdrop of history, Donald Trump, the man who has threatened to use the military against opponents he calls enemies from within, who has threatened to use the troops to quell what he says are lawless cities, and to use those troops to carry out mass deportations of immigrants, is once again turning Madison Square Garden into a staging ground for extremism.
So because Nazis had a rally there in the 30s, and Trump's having one literally almost 100 years later, it's a Nazi rally. And then they go on this 2-minute diatribe how a single Jew went up on the stage and he got assaulted. Okay. What are you talking about? Like, that's so dumb of a comparison. And when he's talking about the enemy within, all you got to do is put that in context where he's saying, hey, I'm talking about the inner work of the government. You got people like Chuck Schumer and Adam Schiff and all these people. Those are the inner people. And when he says, you have to use authority on your own citizens at some point. Yeah, I'm 100% into that. Why do you say? It's simple. If you have people that are rioting and doing what they do, are you going to just let them riot and burn down cities? I guess if you're Minneapolis, you are. Okay, but if I'm president, I'm saying, cops, go in there. Stop this right now. And if you can't handle it, we'll send in the National Guard. Yes, that would be using my own quote unquote military against your own people. But if your own people are acting like animals, you got to treat them like animals. I don't know what to tell you. I need to talk to someone about this. And the person I'm going to bring on is Jeff Abraham. I've known Jeff for probably almost 20 years at this point. He's a great, great guy. He's coming from Georgia. He does one of those really smart jobs. I don't know exactly what he does, but I know he deals with numbers. But he's also a precision, long-range shooter that you've shot a target over a mile in distance.
Yeah.
So that's just a little bit impressive. So Abraham, congratulations on coming on the show. I'm very happy to have you. I don't know why I say congratulations, but congratulations. Thank you for coming on here. Like I said, I wanted to talk to you because you're one of my Jewish friends, and I always have Jewish questions for you. And that might bother you. I don't really care because you always are great about answering. I mean, you probably just like, Jesus, Rubio's just talking to me about Jew stuff again. And I'm one of those guys that I just love to ask questions because I want to know the answers, and it bugs some people. And I apologize for that. And I know the 3 things you're not supposed to talk about with people are politics, religion, and sex. And I'm hitting 2 out of the 3. Hopefully we won't talk about sex right now, Abraham, so I don't have to go trifecta. But Abraham, as a Jew, okay, when you hear the mainstream media throwing around the word Nazi, like people use the word does it piss you off, or does it water it down? What does it do? Because I know what it would do to me, but I want to know what it does to you.
So I think that there's a tremendous lack of perspective going on in society today related to Nazi and Hitler and the casual use, if you will, of that term is it's reducing the impact or the weight of really one of the most difficult times in the history of our world. Millions of people were hurt. My wife has family members that didn't make it out. I've got family members that have suffered at the hands of hate. And I think that the casual use of it, although the intent to me is to sensationalize, to move an emotion, but people don't critically think. They don't look at that. And what's happening is they're blurring the lines between real hate and common disagreement. So we can disagree on things, it doesn't mean that we have to hate each other. And you used to be able to have a vibrant debate on different subjects, including politics. and walk away and go, grab a burger and fries and a drink with that same person. Today, you're marked as racist. I think that the Trump rally is a great example of how you correlate an event that occurred, like you said, almost 100 years ago, to an event that occurred recently, simply because it's in a common location. Well, what about all of the other events that happened in Madison Square Gardens with those number of people? It defies logic, but people don't do their own research. People are willing to be sheep and read headlines, and that's it. So they can get away with it, unless you've got people like you and others that are willing to, kind of attack those subject matters. The idea that they're labeling anybody, I don't care what side of the politics you are, as Hitler or as Nazi, is insulting to the millions of families that have suffered and continue to suffer at the hands of true hate. And most of us in the United States don't know what that is. They've not experienced what true hate and savagery is. The Jews have, and they continue to do that.
So if you were talking to your ancestors, because am I crazy, or did you tell me a story one time of, I think it was your grandfather or great-grandfather was in the ghetto and literally got out like in the hood of a truck or something?
So both my parents were born in Baghdad. In the 50s, they were persecuting the Jews. My uncle rode on the top of a bus in the luggage box across the desert to get out. My mother was smuggled out at 13 years old as part of a harem to Israel, not knowing if she'd even see her family again at 13 years old. My father was working with the underground to help smuggle Jews out, and got caught and arrested. The group he was with broke him out of jail, got him a passport. He came to the United States under that passport, joined the Army. Back in the 50s, when you joined the Army, you got instant citizenship. So he became an American citizen. Went to college here and went back to Israel, married my mom, and came back out here. The absurdity. So here, when you talk about the logic or the illogic tied to hate, in both cases, my father's family worked with the Bedouins, which is a Arab. They're gypsies. But when you do business with them, they were in the mercantile business. When you do business with them, they're your family. One evening, they were coming through Baghdad and they were gathering the Jews to kill them. And the Bedouins came and surrounded my father's house. And basically, when the troops came, they told them they'd have to go through them to get to my parents, my father's family. And the troops chose not to fight the Bedouins because they're not easy to fight. So they moved on. So my father's family survived that evening. The same evening, my mom's family lived next door to an Arab doctor. That doctor during the day was killing the Jews. He came to my mom's family and said, "They're coming tonight. Come to my house and hide out." So when they came to my mom's house, nobody was there. So during the day, he was killing the Jews. That evening, he saved the Jewish family. And he saved them, I think, because he met them as people, not under the perception of who they might be or what they might be the cause of or the blame of. So, and then, relatively recently, I know that most people are probably familiar with Danny Pearl, the Wall Street Journal reporter, who was killed in Pakistan. That's my cousin. He was killed because he was a Jew.
And this was a couple years back, but he had, for people that are thinking like, oh, I think I remember that, he was wearing a blue jumpsuit, right?
Yeah, it had like a magenta and bluish jumpsuit that they put him in, and he was holding a
Yeah.
newspaper in his hand to show the date. And and he said, I am a Jew. My family is Jewish. They've got streets named after them in Israel. And then they subsequently killed him. His body was recovered on the side of the road in Pakistan.
Okay, so this brings me to my next section. There are winners and losers in life. So are the losers the people, like, okay, if we were going to speak to your mom, dad, grandpa, grandma, your uncle, anyone, even the doctor, and said, okay, it's 2024. This guy's running for president. He has a rally, same place as Hitler, but let me explain to you all that has passed in the past 110 years, okay, or 90 years, excuse me. Would this be insulting to you, considering this is what Hitler is doing to you right now, and this is what they're saying he's doing? Because if I'm looking at that from your parents and grandparents and neighbors' perspective, I'm like, yeah, this is not even close, man. Like, how do you compare? This is not even apples to oranges. This is apples to the moon.
But I mean, you stated it. I mean, it's not even close. I don't think that people have a concept of growing up in those kinds of times, growing up in those kinds of conditions. You imagine any parent here, imagine giving your daughter at 13 years old a knapsack on her way to school and telling her at the end of school, there's clothes in here, change in that, and there'll be a man with a large vehicle waiting for you. Get in there and he's going to take you. No other explanation.
Jesus.
Today, the kids today can't sneeze without a note from a doctor or the parents. I mean, it's insane. So to take that world that people grew up in and fought in, and today the things that are going on in Israel, and it's not just the Israelis that are suffering. Hamas has intertwine themselves in the general public, and there's others that are suffering. There's Palestinians in Israel that coexist with Israelis that are actually participating in the government and part of society. Israel wants to integrate those, but you've got these bad actors that have hate in their heart. And I don't think that we can understand that kind of hate, the kind of hate that took down the Twin Towers, because we interpret things through our eyes, and most people are good humans. So when you then start trying to take this broad brush and paint everybody that way, I think it's a tremendous amount of disrespect that's to the people that have suffered and continue to suffer. Because I think there's an incredible lack of understanding. Most of society today could not survive those times.
Okay, so when you see something like that on MSN, Joe Cohen said they installed Kamala with no primary, and that's more like Nazi Germany. Well, you're not wrong on that one, Joe. There's no real democracy on that. So you see that on mainstream media, and then you hear Kamala, and they keep talking about Nazism, and even Joey B said Nazism, and it's just, they're just chiming it out there. If all of a sudden I had a magic wand, boom, I snap my finger, and you could go talk to, let's say, Joey B, Kamala, or anyone on the mainstream media that keeps throwing this around, what would you say as a Jew who's literally had experience with this throughout your family?
I don't know how you describe it to get them to truly understand. What you really need is a darn time machine. You need to take it back and let them witness it. Let them witness the savagery that goes on in when somebody has that kind of hate, when they've got hate for an entire population of people because they maybe have a different belief, a different religious system. For me, it's about the character of the people. Whoever you idolize, whoever you pray to, that's between you and them. What's your character? When the chips are down, how do you respond? How do you treat other people? That's what's important to me, and that's really what's important to the Jewish people. Why do the Jewish people always try to help the the needy, the downtrodden and stuff, because the belief in is to raise people up. The people that truly are, supportive of Hitler and Nazi, they don't want to raise people up. They want to destroy people, and to label people that simply disagree with your philosophy as that type of people is I don't even have the words to describe it.
It's past the point of ignorance.
It is. I mean, it's inconceivable on how they can how they do that. I imagine them sitting. Is this what they tell their kids? Their 6-year-old, their 9-year-old, their 10-year-old sitting in the living room. Is this what they're bringing their kids up? Because you know what? That's what will drive Nazism. That's
why I've said before. I go, it's the old adage: if you could go back in time, create a time machine, and kill baby Hitler, would you do it? And the answer is always, well, yeah. But then when you keep calling like someone like El Trumpo, Hitler, 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 you're going to get someone who's off their rocker, sitting in the corner with peanut butter, on their genitalia. He's going to say, you know what? This is Hitler. They're literally telling me it's Hitler, and he's having Hitler rallies. I should go kill him because they're telling me he's literally the worst person on the planet. So I don't understand. And what you're saying, like how they have to feel it. When I was teaching 8th grade, way back in the day, we read the Diary of Anne Frank that everyone does, and we went in Los Angeles. There's the Museum of Tolerance. If you ever have a chance to go see a Museum of Tolerance, I think there's several, but we go there in a class of 115 kids, all 8th graders. And the 8th graders, there's 14 years old. So they're all bebopping around the place. And we get ready for our tour. And the tour lady says, okay, you guys are here. No problem. She goes, our regular tour guide's not here, but Eli's here and he's going to go with you. And I'm going, okay, well, is this like some stand-in? She goes, oh no, Eli's a Holocaust survivor. And I go, holy hell. And he had, the numbers tattooed. I get emotional thinking about it. And so he gave us this tour and it was unbelievable because he was talking. He's like, oh, and then we did this. And then we did this. And we had to army crawl for 4 miles out of the ghetto. And you go through that Museum of Tolerance and you have any sort of I don't even know what the word is, but it's just so bizarre. Have you been to one of those?
I've been to multiple ones, and it's eye-opening. It's chilling, is what it is, because at least for me, I know that I have a family connection to folks that were there. I know that my wife had a family connection to folks that were there.
Okay, so we got the whole Hitler thing. Not just brushing that under the table here, but why are Jews continuously still hated so much? I don't get it. I've even called you on the phone for this. I did it 2 months ago. I go, Abraham, my go-to Jew, what's going on? Is there something that I don't know? What's happening here?
I don't, the circumstances around Hitler and the hate for the Jews were tied to, at least one of the premises was that it was tied to uncertain times, difficulty, suffering. And so they were able to place blame. And if there's a group of people that's responsible for my suffering, then it's much easier for me to lash out. It's much easier for me to do that. The situations like the situation in Israel, there are people around the country that don't believe Israel, that Jews deserve a homeland. It's not about Jews thinking that Palestinians don't deserve a homeland. It's Hamas and their affiliated organizations who have charters to eliminate an entire population. That's their entire mission. And, to understand, one of the greatest things that I saw to try and get a better understanding of the Arab Jewish conflict is an Israeli series it's a drama series, so it's not factual, but it's pretty close. Some of the actors in it are ex-IDF, the directors and the producers are IDF. And you see some of the horrific acts, really horrific acts on both sides. you're fighting for survival, and and what's really apparent is the generational hate that is being brought up through those actions. So, if the father is a key leader in a group that is attacking the Jews, and then the Jews respond by killing the father, the son is charged with avenging his father's death. The mother is pushing that. So it's a generational problem. Probably 30 years ago, there was an article in the Wall Street Journal where they interviewed an Arab. He was a young adult, and they interviewed a young Israeli, and they asked them about their upbringing, specifically about the relationships between Jews and Arabs. And it was eye-opening to listen to how both sides were indoctrinated into a belief system about the other without getting to know the people. And so, again, you go back to the situation with this doctor. This doctor got to know my mom's family without understanding the dynamics around being Jewish in the eyes of the leaders of Baghdad and Iraq back in the 50s.
Yeah, and like Sub 60 just wrote, he said, generational hate, it's passed on, the chain needs to be broken. Yeah, one of the first things that I ever taught when I was teaching sixth grade social studies was children learn by watching. Okay, it's a very, very easy thing. You can tell him one thing, but if he sees you, acting out on something that's just stupid, the kid, boy or girl, is going to look and say, "Wow, Daddy's doing that, Mommy's doing that. They're my hero. It must be the cool thing to do." So, I mean, it's one of those things that if you were in a room with people that were listening to the mainstream media, and just say you happen to be in they're watching this right now, what would you say to all that Nazi? I don't even know. Verbiage, like what would you tell them?
I don't know that I would probably ask questions. I would try to understand the relationship that they see between Nazi Germany and the events of Nazi Germany and what they're trying to correlate it with here, because it's an impossible correlation. Those dots don't connect at all.
Yeah, it's we're like we said, we're past apples to oranges. It's one of those things that I don't mean to laugh at, but you hear it so much and you're like, oh my God, he had the same thing at Madison Square Garden, and then there was memes coming out. Look at Trump drank water. Guess who else drank water? And then it shows a picture of Hitler drinking water. Trump sat at a table. Guess who else did? Hitler sat at a table. It's like, dude, come on. There's a point to reaching, and there's a point to you're really reaching.
Well, and I think that the thing that's happened over time with the continual casual use of these terms is it's softened it. It's made it easier to have those kinds of conversations like it's nothing. And so the impact or the severity of those kinds of actions. And it's not just, we're talking about Nazi and Hitler because that's the words that are being thrown around, but there's all kinds of events in world history that are like this. And when you desensitize the public to it, then you also desensitize their ability to respond properly and appropriately to it. And I think that's part of what's happening is we're desensitizing the public to the incredible suffering and crimes that went on during that time and the insane amount of evil people that participated in it. And then we're
like I said before, I can't even tell if it's just ignorance or just laziness, but to me, it's almost like a combo. Like you can't look at this really and say, oh my God, it's the exact thing. Like you have to be really dumb to think that, or you're just so lazy that you have to be equally dumb. I can't even think like 100% lazy would just take this and say, yeah, this is Nazi. You'd have to be equally dumb and ignorant and lazy, excuse me.
Yeah. Or they simply don't care because it serves their purpose or their agenda. So there are folks out there that don't care about the truth. They don't care to really know that. What they care about is, does this statement or does this story or does this action further my agenda for my personal gain whatever that might be. And if it does, then let's go with it. And to me, that's a character issue.
Yeah, you're an idiot.
Yeah, I mean, there's an incredible book called Extreme Ownership, and it is you got to stand up and take responsibility for what you say, what you do, and those things that you're responsible for. These people are not taking responsibility for it. All they care about is means to the end, and I think that's part of the agenda that they're going through.
Okay. Abraham, I'm going to cut to commercial. Can I have you? Hold on. Joe Cohen says, exactly, Chris. My son, Joseph, class of 20, in your system, his best friend in school is an autistic kid that my son walks. I'm ducking because I can't see it. Walks to class and introduced him to the football team. So they all took him in, high five him. In the hallways, just wanted to show you character of your top man. That's perfect. That's exactly what you want. Okay. No, that's exactly what you want. You want him to go, and it's okay. The kid's a little different. Cool. High five him. Jesus. It's not that big of a deal. Abraham, can you stick around for one more segment? Because this segment was pretty thick and heavy. And I want to come back to like a 5-minute fluff segment.
Sure.
All right. Sub 60, we're going to go to commercial. Then we're going to come back with Accept and Embrace. We're going to talk about Joey B just blowing things up last night. And it was simply fantastic. All right. Sub 60, I'm out.
You have been watching The Rubio Method.
Let's get going, gang!
Our dedicated staff is ready to work for you. Artbeat specializes in custom apparel. Call us or order online. Free shipping nationwide. Custom printed shirts are our specialty, and we make sure you get exactly what you want. Bring in your own design or let our team create one for you. Promote your business, event, or club with pens, caps, bottles, mugs, and more.
Creating cool since 1985.
Take it away, Rubio.
Focus up. I'm talking to you, Bruno, out in Canada. Even though you're a Yankees fan, I'm pulling for you because you're a great guy. The only bad part about you, Bruno, is that you're a Yankees fan. Go Dyers. Fantastic. We're back. We are episode 81. We've had some good comments on Facebook, LinkedIn, Facebook, and X. You can always email questions directly into us to rubio@therubiomethod.com. We're moving right on with episode 81. We've been talking to Jeff Abraham. You can find him on LinkedIn, Facebook, all that. He's also got a website if you're into guns and stuff. It's called Not Right Shooters. Shooters with a Z?
No.
Yes.
The S on the website, Z because you got limited characters in the.
I got you. So let's move on to the next section. Accept and Embrace. Oh, my Lord, Joey B. I love him so much. And now it's to the point where I can't tell if Joey B is either overflowing with dementia or he's super pissed off at Kamala. Sub 60, you have that first video of, I think it's 49 seconds long, Sub 60. Just let's watch this, Abraham.
Donald Trump has no character. He doesn't give a damn about the Latino community. He's failed businessman. He only cares about the billionaire friends he has and accumulating wealth for those at the top. He says immigrants are poisoning the blood of our country. Give me a break. He wants to do away with the birthright citizenship. Who the hell has said that in the last 100 years? And just the other day, a speaker at his rally called Puerto Rico a floating island of garbage. Well, let me tell you something. I don't know the Puerto Rican that I know, or Puerto Rico where I'm in my home state of Delaware. They're good, decent, honorable people. The only garbage I see floating out there is his supporters. His demonization of Latinos is unconscionable, and it's un-American. It's totally contrary to everything we've done, everything we've been.
Okay, so he dropped this yesterday at about 4 p.m. I think it was 4 p.m. Pacific time. And it's just, you're like, Joey B, land the plane. What are you saying here? What are you saying? And then he just keeps going. And here's the part where I can't decide if he's completely lost it, which there's a very big possibility, or he's so pissed that they took him out. Yeah, JB has no idea where he is. 100% believe that, Joe Cohen. But does he know something? Is he pissed off that he got taken out in a coup because Kamala was giving her like big final speech at the Capitol that exact same moment. And Trump was going on to give a big speech, and Marco Rubio, not related, goes up and shows El Trump. He's like, hey, man, Joey B just called basically 80 million people. That's how many people voted for you last time. Garbage. And you're looking, going, oh my God, and this is clear as day. Like, what are you doing? I mean, okay, so Abraham, real quick, do you think that he's completely lost it or he's pissed?
Well, I think he's pissed, but I think he's pissed because it's being driven by others around him. Because I'm not sure that he really has a concept of what's going on.
Okay, so now this is kind of obvious. So immediately, pics come out. The White House puts out a statement. Can you show us some of those pics, Sub 60, about the adjustments in the White House adjusting what he said? Okay, so this is the whitehouse.gov. They put a little apostrophe saying, oh, no, he was just talking about one supporter. And you're like, guys, we just heard it. Come on, there's not doing that. No. So this is a White House statement, which I think this is illegal. You can't destroy what someone said and just reverse it. Go ahead. There's another one, Sub 60, I think. And then if not, you've got that, I think it's an 18-second video, because here's the funny part, which is great about this one. No, not that one, Sub 60. Well, don't worry. On Sunday, Kill Tony, he's a comedian. He does roasts. He's all about this roast, blah, blah, blah. If you ever saw the Tom Brady roast with Kill Tony, it was so rude and I'm one of the rudest people that I know. My wife will say I'm the rudest. It was so rude that even I was like, oh my God, I'm not sure even I would say that. And it made me kind of cringe, and I don't cringe at anything. I literally can't be offended. And they had him up there. He made a stupid joke about Puerto Rico. It's a floating piece of garbage, blah, blah, blah. And the mainstream media went off saying, oh my God, I can't believe he said garbage. So Sunday and Monday, all the way to Tuesday, 48 hours straight of garbage. Garbage is the worst. Garbage is the worst. Sub 60, you have that 18-second clip. It's got Joey B right there at the start. Do you have that one? Because this is going to show you.
Sorry, Rubio, I don't have that one ready.
Okay, well, get that one ready because I can still talk about it. It's just 18 seconds. But it's talking about how garbage is the worst. Garbage is the worst. Garbage is the worst. I can't believe it say that. He was talking about Puerto Rico. Joey B's talking about literally American civilians, people that he should love because they're Americans and they're for America. So it's one of those things that I just don't understand how they can even do that and adjust it, number one, but then just Abraham, do you understand what I'm saying? Is it as comical for you as it is me?
It is. But there's, if you go back there was a, what's his name? Lopez.
George Lopez. Yeah.
George Lopez at a rally for Kamala made a joke about Mexicans. That was okay. That was okay.
Yeah, he did the joke about they were building the wall, but they shouldn't leave all the stuff there because basically the Mexicans will steal it. Yeah. Okay, waka, waka, waka. He's a Mexican. He can make a joke. But it's like, dude, okay, but he's allowed to. And if you're going to open the door to making jokes about races and places, let it rain. I mean, if you're going to do it, do it. I don't care. It doesn't bother me. But it's one of those things, if you're going to act pissed off about it, well, then it's just stupid. It doesn't make any sense at all. And then Karine Jean-Pierre, the press secretary, he was even asked about it today. So Sub 60, do you have the 18-second video about garbage, or do you have Karine Jean-Pierre video as well? Either one I'll take. If not, you can do the Bezos picture. And I'll talk about both of those. And then Jeff Bezos, who owns the Washington Post, he just 2 days ago, he posted a big editorial basically saying, here we go. Here it is. Opinion, the hard truth. Americans don't trust the news media. A note from our owner, Jeff Bezos. And he's basically saying how no one trusts the mainstream media anymore. We got to switch. He lost 200,000 subscribers because they would not promote Kamala or endorse her. And then literally today, did Biden call Trump supporters garbage? It comes down to apostrophe. Republicans have long strained for a new Hillary Clinton deplorables moment, but Biden's defense is entirely plausible. Dude, you just said how you wanted to be the real news, and now all of a sudden, 24 hours later, you're throwing out this crap where everyone can see it. And it was clear he was not talking about one particular person. He was saying all of his supporters. It was very, very clear. There was no doubt about it. It's one of those things that is so dumb that I just don't even get it. And Sub 60, do you have the final video of Trump arriving at Green Bay, Wisconsin? I just sent it to you about an hour ago. This, I don't know if you saw this yet, Abraham, it just happened.
We have this CNN video that you're looking for, the 18 seconds if you want to play.
Okay, go ahead and put that, and then we'll go straight to the Trump arriving in Green Bay video.
Only garbage I see floating out there is his supporters.
Basically calling Puerto Ricans trash.
The most repulsive racial jokes about Latinos.
Disgusting and hateful.
So incredibly crude.
Frankly, just too X-rated to play here.
Extremely vile, so-called.
So
how do you like my garbage truck? This truck is in honor of Kamala and Joe Biden.
Okay, so number one, they said all that stuff about Joe El Trumpo, how he can't do all this stuff, blah 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 blah. But then and then today, El Trumpo literally drove to Green Bay, Wisconsin from his plane in a trash truck, had a trash vest. He did his entire speech in the orange vest, and his quote was, "I didn't want to wear it, but they said it made me look thinner." Okay, so expert level troll is 8,000, and it's like, so Abraham, I'm glad you're laughing as much as I am, because I think it's absolutely hilarious.
I think it is. It's like him flipping burgers at McDonald's.
Yeah, exactly. This just another troll thing is what he's doing. Okay, working hard is not enough. We're going to come back to that after the commercial. Abraham, I appreciate all your time. Thank you very much. Sub 60. We're going to go to a commercial. Remember, not right shooters, not right-handed. Okay, shooters, SHOOTERS. Check out his website. You'd be very impressed with all Abraham does. Abraham, thank you once again. Sub 60.
Thank you.
I'm out.
You have been watching The Rubio Method.
Hello, we are the MD and Chef team. I'm nutritional chef Michael, joined by my beautiful wife, Dr. Isabel, medical doctor and suicide survivor.
Yes, I was dropped into the world of mental illness back in 2013, and by the grace of God, I survived suicide. But here's what I learned. We don't have a mental illness issue. That's the downstream event. We're focusing downstream. We should be focusing upstream on our brain health and all the things that we can be doing to support our brain health. Because you see, it's like mopping up the floor when the sink is overflowing instead of turning off the faucet. So come and join us on the MD and Chef Team show.
Come join us.
Take it away, Rubio.
Focus up. I'm talking to you, MD and Chef. They were on the show last week. They do a phenomenal show bi-monthly. That's every other week. I think it'll be on next Wednesday. It's usually at 6 p.m. Pacific time. They're in New Zealand, so they're a day ahead of us already. It's one of those shows, I've said it 100 times. You will learn and you will laugh. Every time I watch their show, I'm cracking up at those two because they're the cutest couple in the world. And every single time I leave, I learn something. I'm like, damn, I didn't know about that. And you'll learn some great, great stuff about your health, what you're eating, and also your mindset. Welcome back to episode 81 of The Rubio Method. You can always email rubio@therubiomethod.com. Next section, here we go. Working hard is not enough. Oh my God. All right. So let's Dwayne Wade is a basketball player. Miami Heat, one of the top basketball players in the history of the league. He's got to be top 3 basketball players in Miami Heat history, along with Chris Bosh, probably Shaq, even though none of them stayed there that long. So when you're a top player, they build a statue of you. Here's the statue. For those that are listening on iTunes and Spotify, it kind of looks like, I think it was Han Solo in Star Wars when he's dipped in that like metal gold or hot gold or whatever, / Lawrence Fishburne that's got stung by bees. It's one of the worst statues I've ever seen. And I wanted to talk about this and another topic with Charles Wallace Jr. I call him Chalice Jr. Charles Wallace Jr., welcome. I appreciate you coming on. Charles Wallace, when you saw that statue, what the hell did you think?
Oh, man, I didn't. Yeah, I was raised, if I don't have anything nice to say, anything at all. But I've never lived by that. I've never lived by it. So I think it's metal piece of shit.
Yeah, that's and it's one of those, I mean, it's an honor and it's great, and it's a 12-foot statue or whatever it is. I mean, it probably costs I don't know how much statues cost, hundreds of thousands of dollars. Yeah. But I want to know, Charles Wallace, I'm building a statue of you. Okay. You're an MMA fighter. You're dominating everyone. We're putting it out outside the UFC offices in Vegas, and it comes out. It looks like that. Not exactly like that, but there's literally no doubt it's not you. Right. Do you say something as the athlete?
Oh yeah. Oh, I gotta say something because I can't just let it stay there. It's like that's not even me.
Yeah, I mean, your kids are looking at that because to me, I want to know how it got approved. There's no way in hell this is his first time looking at it. There's no way. It was?
I was going to say that's what I don't understand, because there's no way that he hasn't seen it before. There's no way that even if he himself hasn't seen it, that has to get approved. Like, other people have to see it. It's not like the guy who made the statue or the company that made the statue made it and then nobody laid eyes on it before they unveiled it.
Yeah, his manager, his press team, people from Miami Heat, the organization, the owner, someone, his lawyer had to have gone and said, okay, what picture are you using? Okay, what image? All right, let me see the draw-ups of it, because I'm assuming now with 3D crap, they can do printing and all that stuff. I mean, I've had trophies made. I had the Patrick Manley Award trophy made where they put his hands on the ball. It's an absolute phenomenal trophy. And the guy that we had make it, I remember because it was so damn hard, he was like this Eastern European dude who didn't know anything about football. And so we had to take video of Patrick Manley and we had to go around him like literally 3 or 4 times so they could see it. And then we got probably, Jesus, I want to say 40 drafts of it because we're like, no, that's not the way the fingers look. No, that's not the way the laces look. So I just don't understand how did this get approved? Do you think like it was just too late and he didn't think about it? Well, what are your thoughts on that?
It was just a slew of mess ups the entire way. Like there's just no way. And especially like this isn't a rinky dink operation. This is an NBA franchise getting a statue made for, like you said, one of their best players ever for a pretty storied franchise at that. So I can't wrap my brain around how nobody stepped in at some point before this got unveiled. And if I was getting a statue in my likeness made for my accomplishments and it looked that much not like me, I would be like, I'm not coming to this ceremony. This is just, this is horrid.
Do you think it maybe, okay, here's an example. I'm just thinking of it right now. Do you think it's one of those things like where, you know, you have friends, or let's just use girls as an example. You have a lot of girls that have friends and then they put way too much makeup on, or, you know, they get their lips done or their cheeks done. And will you ever look at those girls and say, don't you have any friends? Like, has no one told you this is not a good look? You look like you made out with a curling iron and your lips look like, you know, they're balloons, or your cheeks are up here, or your eyes look like you Kenny Rogers in a convertible for the last 100 miles going 800 miles per hour. Like, do you think maybe his friends are just too worried about getting cut off the teat?
It could be like that because when you use the example of girls, they do that stuff all the time. They'll never tell them when they look like shit. You know, if I had $1 for every time I was scrolling through Instagram and I saw a girl post a god awful picture with all the comments being like, "Yes, queen, go queen," I wouldn't be in my basement recording this right now. I'd be on a boat in Miami. I wouldn't be here. I wouldn't be on the show. So maybe it's like that. Maybe everyone's just like, you know, it's a self-conscious statue maker. We don't want to offend them.
Yeah, exactly. Or we don't want to get off the Dwayne Wade teat where he's supporting us. We're his boys. It's got to be one of those. So I started doing some research. This is not a one and done type thing. There are a lot of bad athletic statues out there. Sub 60's got about 5 for me. Sub 60. Can you go through them one at a time and we'll see if we can talk about them a little bit? So this is Brandy Chastain, and I'm not sure how. I mean, I guess teeth would be hard to do, but that's terrible. Like, I'm out on that one. Number 2.
Like she looked like I don't know the movie name, but where the author guy gets kidnapped and the lady keeps him on the bed.
Mystery.
Yeah, the
famous actress.
Yeah, I don't know her name.
Oh, she's a badass too. She's a really good actress. She's older, but she really dominated that role. No pun intended. Let's bring up number 2. Yeah. Okay, so this is Amy Murray. This isn't that bad. I mean, it kind of looks like, you know, Shakespeare or some like old Alexander Hamilton or something. I mean, it's not that bad, but it's still bad. Why is he? I guess is he wearing like medieval armor?
Yeah, it looks like he's wearing armor.
Okay, there's got to be a story behind that. I didn't do the research on that one. And then there's one doozy that's coming up. I hope you've seen it before. Go ahead, Sub 60. My God. So this is Cristiano Ronaldo, I guess the best soccer player in the world. He's by far the highest paid. I mean, and the thing with this one is he's a good looking dude. I'm not into dudes, but I'm looking at him and I'm going, that's a handsome guy. There's no doubt about it. He plays soccer, so he's obviously fit. And the statue on the right looks like Sloth from Goonies / I I don't know what else, like Goonies from Sloth from Goonies. If you got ran over 12 times, I mean, that's
I've seen that one before. That one's really bad.
That's embarrassing. Like you could get like a junior, Kathy Bates, Charles Wallace, the senior. That's it. Charles Wallace, Kathy Bates. That's the one. All right. So we killed the statue section. Now we're going to go to confidence is the key. This is what I really want to get you on there. All right. So I don't know if you knew this, but Tim Walz and AOC were going after your vote on Sunday. Tim Walz and AOC. Tim Walz, for those that don't know, he's a VP candidate for Kamala Harris. He's kind of a different dude. He's been caught lying about 40 times on like really big things. And, you know, all politicians lie, but these ones are just verifiable, like easily verified. They've tried to make him do some manly stuff because they call him a coach because he was an assistant coach back in the day. They put him out pheasant hunting and he just looked really, really bad. I mean, he didn't know what he was doing. And so they scheduled a Twitch and they went after males between 20 and 30. So this is your wheelhouse, Chalice. And they set up a Twitch. For those that don't know what Twitch is just an online forum where Charles Wallace and I can play video games and everyone can watch them. And you can watch us talking. And they thought, okay, this is going to be great. 20-year-old males can watch this. They will love it. AOC, she's kind of hot. I'll give it to her on that one. So that's a little eye candy. Tim Walz, he's not hot and he's not normal. So we're not sure how this is going to work, but he is a coach. So maybe he's going to be able to talk through it. And Sub 60, you have the pic of their advertisement where they try to make it like the Madden cover. And this is just, so they posted this and this is the AOC Sports Presents. And you're already laughing at it because it's just weird. It's just a weird thing. And then the whole thing was to boost their numbers with males. But Charles Wallace, let me ask you, as a 26-year-old male who enjoys football, what would you be doing on the average Sunday in fall at, say, 2:30 p.m.?
Oh, just itching to watch some politicians play Madden. That's what we're all doing, isn't it? There's no chance. I'll tell you what, there's no chance that as a 26-year-old football-loving man that I was on my couch locked into NFL Red Zone at 3 p.m. on Sunday, watching the end of the third and beginning of the fourth quarter of 7 football games at the same time. There's no chance I was doing that.
So, okay, obviously this is correct. And it's so dumb because their campaign team, I just don't understand, just like that statue, how it got past point A. Like, okay, guys, we're going to do a Twitch. Okay, we're going to have AOC. She's kind of hot. Okay, we'll have Tim Walz. He's a football coach. Okay, he's kind of weird. Okay, so we're going to do it on Sunday. No, you can't do it on Sunday. Why? Well, that's when football games play. No, we'll do it at 2 p.m. There's no football games. No, there's literally 7 going on. Okay, so let's do it on Monday. No, you can't do it on Monday. There's a World Series. Okay, what about Tuesday? World Series. Wednesday, World Series. So when should we do it? I don't know. Thursday at like 11 a.m. maybe. Because I don't understand how this even got approved because the whole football thing, Tim Walz and or his campaign posted a post on X or Twitter, whatever you want to call it. Go ahead and put that up there, Sub 60, his post. It's just his, where is it, that background one? It says, Tim Walz, AOC can run a mean pick 6 and I can call an audible on a play. And we both know if you take the time to draw up a playbook, you're going to use it. Okay, anyone that's done football for literally an hour and a half of their life, let alone one day, knows you can't run a pick 6. So, Charles, help me out here because this hurts my head. Did he write that or did one of his team write that? Or are they both equally as dumb?
The thing is, even if whoever wrote it, again, like it has to get approved, does it not, before it goes out there? And he wrote the equivalent of like, if we're doing a World Series stream, me being like, Aaron Judge can run a mean home run. Like, you don't run a pick 6. That's just an outcome of a play. Like if it was that simple, again, if it was that simple, I wouldn't be sitting here right now. I'd be the defensive coordinator on an NFL team, and I'd be like, all right, boys, run the pick 6. We'll just run the pick 6 every time they throw the ball. Yeah, we'll just run the pick 6. I don't know why people haven't thought of that. And then the other thing is with as it pertains to the stream, not only are you doing it on an NFL Sunday, but you're just Madden's going on in the background. You're not even talking about football. They're talking about politics.
Oh, we're going to get to that, Chels. Don't think I didn't, because I pulled up some video and like, okay, maybe they're talking about like, hey, the Minnesota Vikings uniform is cool. AOC, you look hot, doing whatever you're going to do. This is video that was live streaming and they posted. Sub 60, you have the video for them. Please say you have the video.
No, and I keep going back to this. This is Project 2025 from Personal Freedoms. I think a lot of folks on here are kind of independent folks, independent thinkers about things. Why would you want the government telling you what books to read or what doctor to see or how big your family can be? That kind of stuff is ridiculous. And so I think you talk about football planning, it's the same way. If you're going to draw up a playbook in football, you're going to use it. Those guys drew up a playbook, and it's Project 2025.
And they put millions of dollars into Project 2025. You don't spend millions of dollars without planning to use it.
Oh, God, no. And it's all these people around him. And J.D. Vance said, I don't know anything about it. He wrote the foreword of the book of The Architect. Who wrote that?
Okay, so number one, Sub 60 just said, oh my God. Okay, number one, incredibly dumb. Number two, let's talk about the play he ran where his running back didn't even follow the blocker. That shows me you know nothing about football. Number three, the Project 2025, El Trumpo and the entire Republican Party has said 1 billion %, like, this is not our project. We denounce it or deform it or deframe it or whatever the hell it's called 100 times. And they're still going back to it over and over. And do you think, like Charles Walls, if you saw what you just did see that, but I'm assuming you've seen it before, would you think that was real or would you think that was a joke?
I would think that it was something out of like a bad B-tier 2005 comedy movie. Like it was just so they just can't read the room. They can't like if you're going to do something like that, and let's not make any mistake about it, it's just like they're doing a stunt, and like Trump's done stunts. Trump did a stunt today. But like if you're going to pull a stunt like that, you don't want to actually be talking politics during the stunt. The whole point is you're trying to appeal to people that you haven't been able to appeal to yet through the traditional channels, through the traditional debates, through the traditional rallies, through all these things. So if you're trying to win favor with a group of people that you haven't been able to reach through the conventional political means, trying to bring them into an arena like that to then just preach at them about politics is never going to work.
No, you hit it right on the head. These people that are watching you, they don't want to hear policies. They just want to make sure you're someone that I could sit down and have a beer with. You're someone that I can hang out with. We're on a long drive and I don't want to, shoot myself in the face because you're so boring. And it's one of those things that you could see they were talking about Project 2025. And then in his ear, someone said, hey, turn this back to football. And he goes, yeah, so if you have a playbook, just like you do in football, you got to run the plays. And it's so bad. And it's to the point where when I'm watching that, it's one of those cringe moments where you get embarrassed for them. Like, oh my God, they're just, like you said, so out of touch on reality that it's unbelievable.
Yeah, I can't. You said it perfectly. And then he says about if you have a playbook, you're going to use it right after he didn't follow the block. It's just so perfect. He doesn't follow the block whatsoever and just gets stuffed by AOC of all people in Madden, and then is talking about following a playbook.
So dumb. Charles Wallace, I really appreciate your time. Go out, keep watching the Dodgers. Hopefully they're doing well right now. We're going to go to the bottom line. Charles Wallace, thank you very much, my man.
All right. Thank you for having me. Have a good one.
So the bottom line for all you new watchers and listeners on Spotify, iTunes, YouTube, LinkedIn, Facebook, X, all that good stuff. The bottom line is just stuff that you should have learned without even realizing you learned it. Number one, always talk to people who would actually know what the history of something actually means. Okay, this goes back to Abraham. If you want to learn about Nazis and Jews and all that good stuff before you just start throwing that word around, maybe talk to someone who's had a little bit of experience in it so you understand the brevity and the gravity of it all. I don't know, just a thought. Number two, If you burn a bridge, make sure you don't ever need to cross it again. If you burn a bridge, make sure you don't ever need to cross it again. This goes back to Kamala and Joey B. Kamala obviously burnt that bridge of Joey B a lot, where she came in with a coup and she burned it. And now Joey B's coming back and saying, oh, I'm going to just give this speech about how if 80 million people are garbage, right where you're giving a speech. Okay. And last but not least, know your audience. Know your audience. That was a perfect audience member, Charles Walsh, of people that Tim Walz and AOC were trying to go for. And you want to talk about a swing and a miss. Holy hell, was that a bad move? But their campaign, just not smart on that one. All right, this was a fantastic episode. Shout out to Sub 60 Ed doing a great job while Jenna is sipping on daiquiris and margaritas and Mai Tais or whatever else is out there. If you have any questions, you can email Rubio at therubiomethod.com. I will see you again on the flip side. Sub 60, I'm out.
Thanks for watching The Rubio Method. Be sure to spread the word, and don't forget to subscribe, like, or follow on YouTube, Spotify, iTunes, Google, Amazon, Twitter, LinkedIn, and Facebook.